All right, game on. Doing another code fight challenge. Just finished up the find email domain guy. And we are rolling to this build palindrome. Doing it live, never seen it before, see what happens. Given a string, find the shortest possible string which can be achieved by adding characters to the end of the initial string to make it a palindrome. Okay. Gotcha. So if it's already a palindrome, we just should return it. And then if it's not, how do we know what character to add on to the end? Gonna have to do some thinking about this. All right, so for their example, we have A, B, C, D, C. And then it adds a B on. How does it know? Well, the last letter needs to be the first letter. Got that. The next to last letter needs to be the next to last letter. And then it's like the last few that are the question mark. So it could be multiple mirror points, right? So we're looking for how much of a palindrome like the longest back half, that's a palindrome. And then we reverse the front and put it on the back to fix it. And if the whole thing's a palindrome, we're done. We have nothing to reverse. Okay, so we're going to do this in a inefficient way and see if we time out, and then we'll deal with it if it's a problem. So we're going to create a function that tells us if something is a palindrome. Return s equals s bracket colon -1. That's just stepping through backwards. And that should that tells us whether it's a palindrome or not. And then so longest ending palindrome is, we start at 0. Well, I guess you start at 1, right? Because a character is always a palindrome of itself. And then we need to so we're going to start at the back, and we're going to keep making them longer until we hit a point where it's not a palindrome. And then we'll figure out what we need to return, which is not going to be all that difficult. So if our long descending palindrome is 1, and this palindrome is true, and then wall end is a palindrome. We have so we'll change that to 0 so we can add the 1 and it'll work out. So wall end is palindrome is true. Then end end is palindrome plus equals 1. And then we'll say end is palindrome equals, oh, this should really just go in here. And then it should say S bracket, we're going to start at the end. We're going to go to longest ending palindrome. Hit 1. And that starts at 1 now, and that goes there. So, and it's not called S, it's called ST. So that should tell us how long of a palindrome we have at the end. Oh, that's not doing anything. What it has to be is palindrome. So we take the chunk of the end of the string. We start at the beginning. Go, no. We want to start at I forget the syntax for going in reverse. A quick Google. So we can, I know how to reverse the list with the slice. We did that for the palindrome function. It's just the indexes get goofy, right? So we want, okay. Yep, so we want to start at the end. Yeah. So that starts us at the end, and we want to end at the length of whatever we started with minus the longest ending palindrome. So when our longest ending palindrome is 1, that puts us at just the last index, and we have nothing to. Oh, but it's exclusive. Yeah. So we need to subtract 1. That'll fix that. And then, and that shouldn't be ended palindrome. That should be the longest ending palindrome. Okay, so that gets us the longest ending palindrome in theory. So now, if we know how long the longest ending palindrome is, we include all the letters up to that. Okay, so I'm running out of recording time, so we're going to stop sharing and just restart and second video. Hold on. Okay, we are continuing. Nothing happened in between other than me stopping and restarting the recording. So here we are. We know where our longest ending palindrome is now. So if our ending palindrome is 3 characters, then we need to tack on the first two characters reversed at the end. So we're going to return st plus, and now we need st bracket start at the beginning, go until so as long as ending palindrome is 3, we need to, or if for our example one with the 5 characters, if it was 4, we need to just take the first character. So we want to go to the length of it minus the longest ending palindrome. Because then if it's 3, which it was in the example case, then it's going to be, our length is 5 minus 3 is 2, and we don't want to include index 2. Yeah, that makes sense. So the length of the string minus longest ending palindrome. And we want to go in reverse through that. And I think we're good now. So unfortunately, I cannot get to the run. There we go. Now I can get to my run test button. Nope, syntax looking error. Alrighty. I did not put a colon. That was easy. Let's see what we get now. All right, incorrect answers. I'm giving them A, B, C, D, C, and then a C. And they want, oh, yeah, that you should be there and there. And same thing for this one. You should be there and there, I think. Still wrong answers. Looks like we were closer before. So let's undo what I just did. All right. So looks like I'm just I even A B A B A B A B A B A B B. So longest ending palindrome. Oh, yeah. This while is not going to do the trick because your next character in could not be a palindrome, and you could go in further and get a palindrome. So this cannot be a while. So this loop needs to be restructured. We really have a length here. So for I in range, so we're going to have the length of S there. And then it would be something like if is palindrome and this, we're going to start here at the So this needs to be an I. And it's going to start at 0. And it's going to go from the n to the n minus 1th, which is the last index. Okay. That means this is a little silly. So we're going to start this guy I at 1. And then this, don't need that anymore. And then if the whole thing's a palindrome, the length of S is 26, right? So length of it, 26, give us back to 0. So we want this to be inclusive. So we're gonna have to add 1. So that'll fix that. And there, that's good. And if it is a palindrome, and then our longest ending palindrome is I. And that should, well, more syntax errors. S, we didn't have an S, we have ST. All right. Answers are still wrong. Oh, I'm tacking the wrong crap onto the end. We need to start at the beginning and then reverse it. So so before, what did it do? A, B, C, D, C. All right, so my longest ending palindrome, I think, is the correct 3. And then I should take characters 0 to 2 and reverse them. So the length of the string is 5. The longest ending palindrome is 3. So that gives us 2. We're going to end at 2. Go to the beginning. Let's print out the longest ending palindrome. See what we're getting. All right. We'll see what that gives us. 4, it's saying, is the longest ending palindrome. That makes sense? Because 1 should check the C. C is a palindrome with itself. CD doesn't work. CDC should work. Then 4 should give a, so 1 what's that give us? Length of the string is 5. All right, hitting the end of another recording. Gonna stop and restart once again. Beep, beep, beep. Where is the recorder limiter? Where are you? No, not you. Not you. Not you. Uh-oh. I don't know where the... Once again, restarting. This turns out to be trickier than I expected. This is what happens when you do it live. So we're printing out a longest ending palindrome, and we're I'm doing some thinking about whether that number is what I want it to be. My gut says no. My gut says I want it to say 3. Um, so for loading in palindrome is 0, I is 1, right? So that means we're just should be looking at our last character, the C. We start at the length of the string, which is 5, minus 1 is 4. And we go to the beginning. So 4 to the begin. Oh, oh. That's not what we want. Um, that's not what we want at all. We want to start there. You don't belong here. You belong here. And we don't want to go in reverse either. It's fine the way it is. We don't have to reverse anything for that. Now, I don't know that that's going to work, but I'm going to hit run and see what happens. Okay, so now it's saying 3, which is what I expect it to say. Now we need to be careful about this reverse it business that I'm doing. I'm saying A, B, C, D, C, C, D. But that's not what we want. We want long string palindromes 3. So here we're starting. I think we want to actually start here and end at wherever the end is. That's the length of the string is 5 minus long string palindromes 3. So we're starting at 2, going to 0. Yeah, that makes sense now. Yep. So now we have an off by 1 problem because we've got 5 characters and we're starting at the length of the string. So 5 minus the palindrome is 2. We're starting at index 2, which is actually the 3rd item. So we want to just subtract 1 here. And that should. Okay, so now we've actually made significant progress here, folks. We've passed a couple test cases. Unfortunately, we have a situation where, oh, yeah, I see what's going on here. So the longest palindrome is the same length as the string. So that's saying 4 minus 4, 0, negative 1. So we're going from the end to the beginning now. So we just need to check if longest ending palindrome is equal to the length of the string, then we just return the string. And then otherwise, we can return this. Okay, so now we're passing all the tests. We can get rid of this extraneous print statement. Man, that was tricky. Not proud of how long that took me. All right, well, at least it works. At least I didn't get hammered by one of their harder test cases. That would have been not fun. As much as I hate to go look at it, I am going to go look and see if someone did it in a way easier than me. See, my solution doesn't end up looking hard. It just took me a while to get there. Let's see. if range string str if it's reversed. So he just keeps tacking characters on until the whole thing's a palindrome. Yeah, I should have realized to do that. Man, I made that way more complicated than it had to be. So he starts, yeah. Yeah, I could have done that. If it's a palindrome, return it. Otherwise, tack a. No, this is actually more complex than I think. So, see, this is weird. Use STRs. So we say S is we tack it on, and then if S it turns out to be a palindrome, I return it. Otherwise, we tack two things on to the end and check if it's a palindrome. So we take 0 things, and then we tack one thing on, and then we tack two things on, and then we tack three things on. It's actually, my way is actually, I think, because I just go one pass and then tack the right amount of things on. Hmm. Oh well. Not something I'm super proud of, but I got it done.